And online fashion retailer ASOS has been praised for using untouched photos of models to promote their latest swimwear range. Customers have commended the website for helping to make natural be seen as more normal.
This feeling that women have of they don't want to turn into the sort of plastic fantastic that seems to be approved of by a certain group of females.
It does make you wonder why any photos of models are touched up, really. I mean, they're beautiful people. Why touch them up in the first place? Do you think other retailers might follow this lead, Dan?
I think they will. I think they will. And I think it's a terrific idea, and it's this idea of seeing people, you know, normal people.
Now, have you checked your social media already this morning? Chances are you have, and you're not alone.
The problem that's the flip side of, you know, you just being social and wanting to get on with people is that you start to care about whose opinions normally would not matter to you if social media didn't exist. So do you think that this could have long-term psychological impacts, Sandy?
In a funny sort of way, Lisa, often because we're on social media, it makes people feel quite vulnerable because they overcare, they overshare. And with that vulnerability, they're increasing their desire to be liked. So every time you get a like, what you're wanting to do is get a serotonin or dopamine hit. So what that means, you get that pleasure hormone. So to reduce your anxiety, you go back and get liked and liked and liked. So we set up quite a vicious cycle.
Have phones yet, but I find that they get disengaged when they're just totally absorbed in the screen and they don't really realise what's going on around them, and that's what this survey found. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I totally agree with Michelle. It's new technology and it's part of their future lives, but I just think we've got to be careful how much we allow them to absorb themselves in these sometimes mindless screens.
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind that people are able to wield this kind of power in someone else's local community.
It sent chills up my body. Who in their right mind would want to have a cross taken down that's been there for, 60 years?
The organization also wants Bibles and crosses inside the building removed as well.
I don't think that it's our job as a society to change everything to make sure no one is offended. I really believe it's a slippery slope and we're really spiraling in it right now.
Do you anticipate more divorces this year?
You know, I tell you, we went through all 50 states. We managed to look at this for the past 15 years, actually, who is going through a divorce, who's filing it. Is it a man or is it a woman? Well, states that kind of turned blue or red, we found an increase in divorce filings for those which were blue states versus red states based on how that election went. I even got people coming to our website saying to us, listen, I am going to file for divorce because he voted for Trump or she voted for Hillary. And believe it or not, those aren't valid reasons for filing for a divorce, but we've gotten them sent over more time than you can imagine.
Brand new video this morning showing the moment a car rams into the Arkansas State Capitol, destroying the Ten Commandments monument. The suspect is now in custody, but the community, of course, is still rattled as this act of violence comes less than one day after that statue was unveiled.
A Christian school in Canada is being told to stop teaching Bible verses that could be deemed offensive.
So in fact, there's this changing of the guard when it comes to the young generations. When you look at those that are retirees, those aged over 65, still more than 70% of those adhere to Christianity. So you're seeing that shift, that increased globalisation, that secularisation that's happening, where Australia is really following the lead of what's happened in many parts of Europe.
More than a dozen new laws took effect today, but one in particular has gotten national attention.
Governor Matt Bevin publicly signing House Bill 128, which allows public schools to teach courses on the Bible.
The scriptures is always positive things, positive influences, positive, and kids need to have some positive influence these days.
The bill's sponsor says students need to understand the role the Bible played in American history.
Really did set the foundation that our founding fathers used to develop documents like the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. All of those came from principles from the Bible.
A lot of things we do with science is analytical, and we don't spend a lot of time contemplating how things are, why things are the way they are.
But the idea that we would not want this to be an option for people in schools, that would be crazy. I don't know why every state would not embrace this, why we as a nation would not embrace this.
Because they're watching you and they're saying, do you believe it enough to take it on to the next person? Do you believe it enough to act it out? Do you believe it enough to give your life for it, to know how Jesus felt? It's heavy.
But Eubank had to get to the little girl, putting up a blanket of protective smoke so he could run. The rescue took just 12 seconds. The little girl was safe.
Why did you do it? Love. And I remembered this scripture, greater love has no man, he laid down his life first for us.
Yes, ma'am, and that's John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, than he laid down his life for his friends.
The local authorities say passages in the Bible that denigrate or vilify one's sexual orientation should not be studied in class. The school disagrees, however, saying the ban would violate its constitutional rights.
That's what the school board used, is the word offense. They said you need to get rid of all offensive texts from the Bible and stop teaching this.
And I walk up to this man. I said, hi, I'm Sadie. I said, I don't have any money, honestly. I don't have anything on me right now, but I do have this. And this is everything, and I want to give this to you. And he looked at me, and his eyes filled with tears.
You could be an atheist and you would appreciate there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible.
He said, no. He said, I'm an atheist. So I said, okay, I'll respect that. So I start walking away.
But ISIS still holds on to a piece of Mosul and Tel Afar, Hawija, other areas, of course, in Syria. And as you're saying, not only are they wicked, you can't underestimate them. They need to be fought step by step. And I pray for them too, but those that don't want another way.
And I turn around and I look at him and I said, are you sure? He said, yes. So I lay the book down. He goes, no, don't leave it, don't leave it. I was like, do you want it? He's like, no, I don't want it, but don't leave it. I said, okay, why? He said, please give it to somebody that will take it. Because somebody needs it, but it just can't be me.
We're talking about things and houses and everything. I think they've got it tough because of what's going on in the world with social media and all of those other things,
All the
and the internet.
Yep.
I think as good as it is, it has 50% bad to it.
Well, that is the other thing they're finding, which is that in a sense, the luckier we are, the sadder we get. So there's
you're not sad, are you?
No, not anymore. I'm on antidepressants. But it is absolutely true.
That's
right. It's great to be here. But that's what they think it is.
Can I just say something? I told you, I think everybody should be on an antidepressant. The world would be a better place.
This truly unique event marks the end of Mona's Dark Mofo Festival, a 2-week celebration of the dark, the cold and pushing the boundaries.
The park is home to many of the festival's artistic draw cards and is said to be darker and fierier than ever before.
Well, for the last 2 weeks, sunrise and sunset in Hobart has been marked by an eerie, echoing call. Lee Carmichael said, "There's a school of thought that believes it's by facing our fears and embracing the darkness that we more deeply appreciate the light and the joy." 2017 was the 5th year that Hobart has played host to Dark Mofo. In the words of its incredibly talented creative director, Lee Carmichael, Dark Mofo explores the full spectrum of human emotion, enabling a deeper understanding of the nature of existence. Indeed, the entire city has been booked out. Hotels, restaurants and transport businesses all benefited from this festival. And indeed, it was bringing light out of the darkness.
And Jesus said, that is how I feel. Because Jesus is extending his hand to us with truth, with promises, with something that can save us from a dark world. And sometimes we just say, no, we don't want that. We're just gonna lay here. We're just gonna stick with this life. We just walk away. And Jesus is saying, no, are you sure? Please take it. I died for this. Please take it. And that guy knew somebody would. He knew. He didn't feel worthy, and that breaks my heart because we're all worthy. But he knew that something in that book was good because he didn't want me to lay it on the floor. He didn't want me to give up on it. He saw it in my eyes that what I was holding was truth and something I believed.